I've rewritten over 50 first chapters in the last year, and I can tell you exactly when readers decide to quit your book. Page 3. Sometimes page 2, occasionally page 1 if you really mess things up. But here's the wild part. The reasons readers quit have nothing to do with what most writing advice tells you. Today, I'm going to show you the 5 fatal mistakes that kill first chapters and why fixing them is simpler than you think. Because I've seen brilliant books die in the first 3 pages for completely avoidable reasons. Let me tell you about Sarah's manuscript. She came to us with a fantasy novel that had everything. Complex magic system, compelling characters, a plot twist that genuinely shocked me. But her first chapter, readers stopped within paragraphs. And here's what it looked like. In the world of Etheria, there existed 5 kingdoms, each ruled by ancient bloodlines that could trace their heritage back to the time of founding, when the great sundering separated the magical realm from the mortal plane, creating a barrier that would shape the destiny of both worlds for millennia to come. I stopped reading as well, and I get paid to read this stuff. After we rewrote her opening, readers loved it. And it was the same book, same story, just with a different first page. And that's the power of getting your opening right. Now, here's what nobody tells you about first chapters. The first mistake is the world building info dump. This is the fantasy and sci-fi writer's favorite trap. You've built an incredible world, you're excited to share every detail about the magic system, the political structure, the historical context, but readers don't care, at least not yet. And I've rewritten so many openings that start with maps and geography lessons, detailed explanations of how magic works, historical timelines going back centuries, complex political structures. But here's what readers actually want on page 1, a character doing something interesting. The way that we improved Sarah's opening was to show her protagonist stealing a magical artifact from a heavily guarded tower. We learned about the magic system because she was using it to survive. We learned about the political structure because the guards were hunting her down. It was the same information, just a completely different delivery. So you need to show us the world through action, not explanation. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. And this is the second mistake I see a lot, is the mirror scene. She looked at herself in the mirror. Long brown hair fell past her shoulders. Green eyes stared back at her. At 28, she still looked young, though the stresses of her job were starting to show. And I've rewritten this exact opening scene about 30 times, right? Here is why it kills your opening. It's lazy character description disguised as prose. Nobody looks in a mirror and catalogues their own features. That's just not how humans think. Here's what we do instead. Reveal physical details through interaction. So it might be she tucked her hair behind her ear. She's still getting used to cutting it short after the accident. The bouncer looked at her ID, then at her face. You don't look 28. Or he went for her throat. Wrong move. She was taller than he expected. We learn what she looks like because it matters to the scene and what's happening in the scene. Now, here's the mistake that kills more openings than anything else, and it's the throat clearing opening. It was a Tuesday, nothing special about it, just another Tuesday, like any other Tuesday. Little did she know, this Tuesday would change everything. So this is what I call throat clearing. You're warming up, getting comfortable, maybe building confidence, but readers don't need to watch you warm up. I rewrote one thriller that opened with 2 pages about a normal routine, right? A normal morning routine, shower, coffee, commute. And then on page 3, the character witnesses a murder. So it was a very simple update where we just started on page 3. We cut the first 2 pages entirely. The book opened with the murder. And did we lose anything important? No, because normal life before everything changed is implied. So you have to start where the story actually begins. Now, here's the other subtle mistake that readers will notice immediately. And it's called passive voice and weak verbs. So an example is, the door was opened by someone she couldn't see. The room was filled with a strange smell. Her heart was pounding as she was led down the hallway. Every sentence is passive and every verb is weak. And so you'll see the difference when I give you the active voice version. Someone she couldn't see opened the door. A strange smell filled the room. Her heart pounded as they led her down the hallway. Now, you can feel the difference. I've rewritten dozens of openings that were technically correct, but they just felt flat. And the culprit was passive construction and weak verbs. Your first page needs energy, and passive voice just drains it away. Now, here's the mistake that makes readers work too hard. And it's mistake number 5, which is too many characters too fast. So I read one opening that introduced 7 characters in the first 2 pages. I couldn't remember anyone's name. And here's the pattern I see constantly. Writers panic about readers not having enough context, so they throw everyone at them at once. Sarah walked into the office where her boss Margaret was arguing with the new intern James, while her colleague David tried to mediate, and receptionist Amanda rolled her eyes at the accountant Thomas, who was showing architect Rebecca the blueprints, right? It's exhausting. So what you want to do is, as a maximum, 3 named characters in your opening chapter. Ideally 2, really. Let us get attached to your protagonist before you introduce the entire cast. So we've spoken a lot about the mistakes. Now let me explain what successful first chapters actually do. And after rewriting 50 openings, I've noticed a pattern in books that hooks readers immediately. They start with a character we can connect with, facing a problem that we understand. So not a world, not a backstory, not a mirror description, a character, a problem, and forward motion. So take Rebecca's memoir, Police to Paranoia. We opened with her being arrested by her colleagues. Immediate stakes, clear character forward momentum. And Laura's 10-10-10 opens with the moment she decided to run 10 marathons in 10 days. Immediate intrigue, character and motion. We want to know why. Neither book opens with a backstory or explanation. They open with a moment that makes you need to know what is going to happen next. So let me give you an action plan going forward. Pull up your first chapter right now and ask these questions. Am I explaining my world or showing someone navigating it? Do I have a mirror scene? Then cut it. Where does my story actually begin? Can I just start there instead? Am I using passive voice? If so, make it active. And how many characters am I introducing? Keep it to 3 maximum. Then do this. Read your first 3 pages out loud. If you get bored reading your own work, well, readers will too. Ultimately, the truth about first chapters is you don't get many chances to hook readers. Page 1 is your audition, page 2 is your callback, and page 3 is where they decide if they're committed. Most writers waste all 3 pages warming up, but the successful writers, they start where the story begins. Your opening chapter doesn't need to be perfect, it needs to be impossible to put down. So drop a comment and give me the opening line of your book. So then we can see if it hooks readers or if it potentially needs a rewrite. Looking forward to reading them, giving you some feedback. YouTube will now be recommending another one of my writing videos. So go ahead and watch this one up next.